It's PFL first round 4. Andy and Jim from Winning in the Shadows here to break down some of the prelims. We'll touch on all the fights. You're not going to get super detailed breakdowns on the fights that don't need it, and then we'll go over the main card. Let's get right into it. But first, hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment. Tell us who you like. We're going to talk about our PFL pack that is up. We also have a 5% UFC and Live parlay that is up. We hit our 5% last week. And Jim is 5-1 in PFL plays this year. So he's beating his goal. Your goal was 70%, Jim. Congratulations. You're ahead of it. So we already have some plays up, and I have a feeling after weigh-ins we may have a little bit more. So, all right, let's get right into it here. Let's start with the prelims. We'll go through some of these. Polizzi and Rafael Xavier, I think we both kind of agree you're kind of probably playing with fire if you're wanting to bet on Polizzi at the big favorite, right?
Well, he's taken money, and my biggest problem is the amount of damage that this guy has taken in his career. He had his jaw surgically reconstructed after he fought Yoel Romero. That was an even matchup.
I just want to let you like he had his jaw reconstructed, and I flipped to this picture. He's like, "Yeah, my jaw was."
I fought Yoel Romero without USADA. That's what happens. It's kind of what happens. It was very obvious what Yoel we got there in those Bellator days. So he just gets standing KO'd by Impa, which is, in hindsight, a bad look. I mean, Impa hasn't looked great lately. We love Impa.
Impa's not standing KOing great fighters. He's not.
He gets this win over Carlos Jr. Carlos Jr. needed just a win to get into the playoffs. And I swear to God, he didn't train a second for Polizzi. Not a second. And it was just an uninspiring, no cardio, old man looking performance. And it's not like Polizzi did anything special. Carlos Jr. just didn't show. So I think people are looking at that win blindly and saying,
Carlos Jr. was exhausted.
He was a mess. He was tired 2 minutes into the first round. He didn't get the sub, and then he was done. So you have the opposite end of the spectrum here. Rafael Xavier came in and almost put Simeon Powell on a 2-fight losing streak. So, listen, we don't like dogs a lot in PFL, but there's something about this Xavier guy. There's something about him. He throws everything with extreme viciousness. There's nothing soft about him. So I would be real cautious diving in on Polizzi as a favorite in this spot. If anything, I would be looking to bet Xavier and hoping that he can touch that chin, which very obviously has been cracked recently with Polizzi. Not betting him as a favorite at all.
Yeah, listen, he's got a couple losses here. One was to Powell, where he looked great in the first round. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic in the first round. Loses a split in Octagon. Listen, 2 losses that are both splits, and you got to go back a ways to find the rest of his losses when he was kind of just getting, started in there. So I'm with you. I like Xavier in this one, and it's more of a I don't know about Polizzi as that big of a favorite. If the odds were pick 'em, maybe a little bit different story, but they're not. So we got to take a look at the dog here. Not thin Nascimento against Abraham Pabley. Wow. I have nothing in this one. You?
Another UFC fighter making the transition. We all know how this script plays out. Look, Pabley doesn't have a lot of experience, and he is limited in his skill set. When these guys faced off, I was pretty surprised how much thicker Pabley is, and the height difference isn't nearly as pronounced as I thought it would be. I think you're playing with fire, going with Nascimento in this one as well. These first 2 fights of the night, I think there's a lot of unknowns, just a lot of unknowns. Nascimento has the edge in the grappling, but can he get it there? Pabley's built like a fire hydrant. How are you going to get him to the ground? He's got to be really slick with his grappling. And if it's on the feet, I don't know, man. Nascimento just seems wild and open, and Pabley does a real good job of keeping his chin tucked and staying in the pocket. It would not shock me to see him catch Nascimento in this spot and spoil the debut. But both of these guys are really not high level. I would avoid this unless you have a strong conviction. Definitely not betting the favorite to start the night.
Real quick, you want to do the former UFC fighters in PFL and how maybe this is it's kind of like if the Patriots wanted to trade somebody in Belichick's prime, you were like, what's wrong with them? And then it turned out something was wrong with them.
Yeah.
You got Tyler Santos, who's now officially banned. So we understand that. We had Burgos, who was
Yep.
their big signing. That hasn't gone spectacularly well.
Mhm.
D. Casey, did he last a minute? I don't even think he lasted
No, he didn't.
a minute.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Let's
Be
not
careful.
forget about Aspen Ladd. That was a big UFC
Aspen
signing,
Ladd.
right?
Yeah.
She got progressively worse.
Yeah, some of these quote big UFC signings, I'm not really sure. And I'm not saying Nascimento is a big signing, but to say, well, that's a UFC caliber fighter, he or she should run through. Tyler Santos got absolutely brutalized by PFL's, gem in Dakota Ditchva. So I wouldn't just pencil in these UFC guys as ultimately getting the win here. So
I think the motivation factor is a real big issue for these guys. They
yeah.
get paid by PFL upright up front. They get their money early, and who
Yeah.
cares if they win or lose? They're going to take their paychecks and leave.
2 fights in a row where face-offs and weigh-ins changed my mind. Not really changed my mind, but just kind of gave me a little bit stronger opinion. Marcelo Nunez, he's lost a lot of weight. He submitted Jordan Heiderman. Go back and watch that fight and tell me if you were impressed. Jordan Heiderman completely reversed him on the ground with a simple, like, I'm just going to push you over, except Heiderman rolled right into a ridiculous armbar, and then he knocks out, Marquez. But I'm sorry, anybody that gets knocked out by Maurice Green this decade, I've got some pretty big questions on. I thought he looked absolutely terrible, absolutely horrible at face-offs and weigh-ins. Sullivan Cauley looked like his weight cut was no big deal. He looked shredded, ripped. I got Cauley in a steamroll. What do you think?
If you look at Nunez's record, he has benefited from fighting some really bad fighters.
Yeah.
Really bad. I mean, we go back to his debut in PFL against Bevon Lewis, who's a very beatable fighter. The win over Marquez, if anybody remembers this fight, my God, the both of these guys looked like it was a retirement fight at a retirement home. It was horrible. Marquez just happened to be more tired and have less of a chin.
In the first round, by the way.
Oh, it was horrible, man. You can't get beat by Maurice Green, Dylan Potter. You get a win over. Like, these are all just journeymen. There's no pedigree to anybody that he's fighting.
Never forget that Marquez lost to Tim Johnson.
Yes,
Never
let's
forget.
keep that in perspective. Well, Marquez is not bad.
We'll get to Tim Johnson.
So I don't buy it. I don't buy it. He cut down to 205. He looks like he never was muscular, but he looks like a string bean at this weight class. Like, I couldn't believe it was him. He looks like a totally different person. I don't believe this is one of those weight cuts that's going to benefit a 36-year-old with poor cardio and a questionable chin. If it doesn't go to the ground, Nunez is in trouble. So to me, he's a submission and bust in the first round. If this fight goes to the second round, he's a sitting duck round 2 and 3. Sullivan Cauley comes from the Arizona State background of wrestling with Ryan Bader, CB Dollaway. He was one of Bellator's golden children. He didn't have the hardest level of competition, but I feel like people are holding that loss to Luke Traynor against him at this point. I fault nobody for losing to Luke Traynor. I think Luke Traynor is one of the biggest and brightest rising stars in MMA that nobody wants to talk about outside of the UFC. The guy is a problem. So I don't hold that against him at all. He rebounds with a win that he should get. Look, he's got one job. What's his one job, Andy?
What, Sullivan Cauley?
He's got one job.
Well, I mean, to me, it's just last past the first round. That to me, that's it.
Stay on your feet, right? Last
Yeah.
in the first round.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all he has to do, and he wins this fight. So
Agreed.
I like
Push-
Cauley a lot in the spot.
Push the pace a little bit, get him a little tired, and smoke him. Oleg Popov against our boy. Come on, Karl.
Come on,
Karl. We have a long track record with Karl Williams, and this goes back to Contender Series against Jimmy Lawson, where Karl Williams is fighting short notice a wrestler as a massive underdog. Where have we heard this before? He comes in, he beats Jimmy Lawson, who got one of the biggest fraud checks I have ever seen in all my days of handicapping. But so he goes in there, wrestles Bresky, wrestles Chase Sherman, wrestles Tafa. They get in his ear, you need to strike. and he does against Denise, and it doesn't go well until the last 45 seconds when Denise clips him and Karl goes, you know what, I'm going to wrestle him, and takes him down with a just blew him over. Like, he is a born natural wrestler, and the fact that he's not in UFC because he took some horrific advice is truly terrible. We've made a lot of money on Popoff, but my God, Jim, at weights, Karl Williams is massive compared to Popoff. I don't think Popoff's. Listen. He's a really good fighter. Getting reversed by Linton Vassell is not a great look in your fights.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Goldsoft made mincemeat of him. Karl Williams, you and I said we thought Karl Williams should be a favorite. Lines open at plus 200.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Now, I will say Karl Williams didn't look like he was totally in fight shape. He looked a little pudgy. This is short notice. If he goes back to his wrestling ways, I just don't think Popoff is going to be able to out-wrestle him. And like you said, you thought Karl Williams' striking was bad. Where do you see Popoff's? I love the underdog here in Karl Williams. What do you think?
It seems too good to be true. Honestly, I think Karl could win this on the feet as well. I've seen nothing from Popoff striking to say that it's going to be anything that Karl Williams hasn't seen a million times in the gym and in the UFC. He's fought way better strikers. I mean, Denise, say what you want about him. He's a world-class striker and kickboxer. It's just all he could do, and he didn't knock out Karl. So, look, Popoff, it's a chain wrestling thing. I don't know if Popoff is going to be prepared for when these takedowns get stuffed. And Karl has made a career out of being the underdog already. I'm not worried about him not going to the wrestling, Karl, because he doesn't have anybody in his ear now. PFL signed him. He also, take this for what you will, he has been in Tim Johnson's training camp. Now, if Karl's fighting Tim Johnson, I'm not sure they're really setting a high pace. So the cardio is not going to be through the roof, but he was at least training. The people were making it sound like Karl was just getting off the couch. He's been there for 3 months in the training camp. So I think he's going to come in somewhat decent shape. To me, Karl can win this everywhere. There's just something missing. Haven't got there yet. Popoff could end up being a lay and pray for 3 rounds, but I'll tell you this. I'll take Karl after seeing the weigh-ins. I think the size is a big factor.
Yeah. Next fight on the prelims, Alexander Romanov and Tim Johnson. I don't care who wins. This fight ain't seeing the judges' scorecard. No chance. Tim Johnson, famously the truck driver. I've already seen some people in our chat and in Wager Talks chat say they're excited to bet against the truck driver. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You can give us credit. We discovered this for you. It's okay.
It's okay.
Just give us a little credit. He gets the surprise against Marquez, and I irresponsibly bet against him against Golsoff and Nemkov. That was about as easy as it gets. Listen, the guy's a truck driver. Romanov is an absolute head case. You never know what to get with him. He looks way better now than he did in this picture. He looks like he's in at least a little bit better shape. On a personal note, I really hope the demons that he has been dealing with and the absolutely terrible, unfortunate things that have happened to him outside the ring, personally, I hope it's going well for him. Body language and face looked a lot better than it has in a long, long time, Jim.
I agree.
There was something good about him. So, personally, I hope Romanov is in a good place. If he is, he's going to make very short work.
Submission round 1.
Yes, but if Tim Johnson wins, it's going to be because Romanov gasses and Tim Johnson knocks him out in the first round. I would take this under, probably under 1.5. Probably under 1.5 rounds, which is, I'm guessing, what the books are going to give us. Who's going to win? Romanov at minus 800 is laughable, so I'll just settle on the unders. What's your take?
Could have said it better. You nailed it on that one, man. It's just nothing else to say. If you go back and you watch Tim Johnson fighting Nemkov, I mean, Nemkov was recklessly going after the takedown, and it was just Tim trying to stand back up. Now, the thing is with Romanov, too, is once he gets you on the ground, he puts his big giant belly on you and does not give you space. So I think this is going to be even worse than the Nemkov fight because there's no room. There's no room. He's going to be stuck on the ground. I love the headspace of Romanov coming in here. I agree with you. I hate betting under 1.5s, but this is one that you have to play if it's a decent number and hold your nose and just scream at the TV, come on, Romanov, get him out of there.
Yeah.
And this way, if he gasses out 2 minutes in and Tim Johnson knocks him out, you're still happy.
Love it. We mentioned our PFL pack and our 5%. We're 10-2 and 5% best bets in 2025. Listen, we always preach long term. If it were up to me, the minimum amount of plays that people would be able to get from me is 30 days. That way you get to see a full month of what Jim and me and Corbin and Jan and Dan can do. We have a huge lacrosse play that goes off on Thursday. Corbin's been doing really, really good in all of his sports. We got golf. We've got cricket. Cricket department is on fire, 11-3 run. I get this is a UFC show, so if you're just looking for one bet, allow me to point you to the 5% gold UFC+Golf Parlay. We hit this last week. If you want PFL, this is a spot where I could say yes, you should get this pack. There's already a couple plays up. Jim wants to hit 70% this year. We're 5-1. Plus 11 units so far in 2025. I've not included the that crazy PFL debacle play that we have. I've gotten that out of the records. So when we talk about our PFL record, nobody leave a comment because it's not in there. It doesn't exist. That play never happened. Get it out of your memory and get it out of the comments section for the love of God. All right, but anyway, so let's
5-1 without it, so nobody can say nothing.
Thank you. 5-1 without. Yes, yeah. There was a controversial PFL play for those of you that have been watching. But no, in all seriousness, we're going to close out April. This will be our 15th profitable month out of the last 18. That's why we say give us a long, extended period of time. I can't guarantee I'm going to win on Saturday. Jim can't guarantee we're going to win. Boy, you give us 30 days. I think I can say, hey, I think you're going to be happy with the results. 15 out of 18 months is not too bad. But it's a UFC show. Go grab the PFL best bets and the 5% best bet. Or just get a 3-day pass and you're going to get all of this, get your MMA fix in. So that's over at wagertalk.com. I never thought I'd say we moved to the main card and Karl Albrektsson, but here we are. First off, this guy's hair, whoever told him he should cut it off needs to get a talking to because his hair's amazing. He's always got a shaved head.
Kind of his thing.
Yeah. I'm amazed that he made it.
You took my line.
Oh,
darn
go ahead.
it. I was saving that.
I'm sorry.
Keep going. Beautiful.
I mean, look, like what's amazing is they can't even try and rebook the fight. It's all against different people.
I know. I'm shocked the fight's still on. I'm with you, bud.
You know, he just got knocked out in Superior Challenge 27. Well, thank God he won in Superior Challenge 26. I have never heard of Superior Challenge. I truly do not. I've never heard of that promotion. Bellator against Grant Neal didn't go well. Karl Moore went even worse. I just don't know what he does very good. I'll let you talk about Simeon Powell here. Smooth. Love the nickname Smooth.
It's a great nickname. And it is kind of how he fights. He fights at range. Not really big on combinations. Does a great job of mixing up his strikes, head, body, legs. Will go to the calf kick. He's got a longer reach than John Jones. Is that wild or what?
Wow.
His wingspan is bigger. So he's going to have a 3-inch height advantage and a 10-inch reach advantage in this fight. I mean, that's a whole nother arm on top of your arm. So let's talk about the elephant in the room here. This loss to Jacob Netto.
He's hand fighting, and all of a sudden there's a third arm reaching around his neck. Yeah.
He's like fighting an octopus.
Yeah.
He fights Jacob Netto, and he gets clipped. Now, that's what Jacob Netto does. Let's not hold it too much against him because let's not forget, Jacob Netto was almost in the finals because he had Impa on skates in round 1. The guy hits hard. Powell just happened to get caught. It is what it is. It happens. And honestly, he was due for a loss. This is one of my favorite angles in sport. Okay. I had a big bet on Rafael Xavier, on Powell over Xavier. Why? Because he got the loss out of the way. he got rocked in that Xavier fight, and he found a way to get his wits about him, get through it, and win the decision. It wasn't an easy fight. And we think Xavier, we think the world of this guy. We think he's better than a lot of people are saying he is. So to me, that shows maturity. Finally stepping up and fighting these guys that are good, legitimately can beat you on any given night. If you run that Xavier fight back, I think Powell maybe wins it 6 times out of 10. In hindsight, I think that's way closer. And Albrektsson just has shown that every time he steps up in competition, he gets sat back down.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this is Powell. This is Powell by finish at some point. He's just going to find the chin of Albrektsson. This is a total setup. Right before we started recording, one of my favorite things to do in PFL is look at the video packages. And when they're spending all this time talking about Karl Albrektsson, it's because they want Powell to knock him out so they can say that he fought a good guy. Powell is their guy, okay? It's not Albrektsson. They want Powell to move on. He's part of the PFL Europe. This is the guy they want to move on to the next round, and they're giving him a pretty nice matchup to start.
Antonio Carlos Jr., Karl Moore. I thought this was interesting in weigh-ins. Thought Carlos Jr. I thought he looked good. Thought he lost some chub, and I don't think he looked weak. I thought he looked like a little bit more in shape. But like you said, that loss against Paluzzi, maybe that was a wake up call on him. How do you see this fight going down, Carlos Jr. and Karl Moore?
When the totals come out, I will have some sort of a bet on this fight not to go the distance. That's where I'm looking at it. I think this is a massive live bet spot. Carlos Jr. is live as live could be in the first 3.5 minutes of the fight. If he doesn't get the submission on Karl Moore, you see that Karl can stuff the takedowns. He is in deep, deep, deep trouble. Karl Moore is a cardio machine for his size. We just saw him go toe-to-toe with Corey Anderson in wrestling, right? Never gassed, fought through it, was tough. Carlos Jr. can fall off a cliff. And to me, he just has not looked the same since he came back. He had a couple decent wins, and he just looks like he's just phoning it in. Now, you are right. He did come in slimmer, but we don't know why he came in slimmer. Is it because he's just slimming down? Maybe he's off the juice. Who knows? Or is he really working on his cardio? I just can't believe that somebody who's already won $2 million and has done reality shows is all of a sudden all in on their MMA career again. So I really like Karl Moore as a live bet here. I don't think it's worth playing to start. He's already shifted to the favorite. If he gets taken down, you're just going to wait and see if he can survive. And if he does, you're betting Karl Moore at the end of the first or going into the second because he's going to have the cardio to put Junior down.
I like it. Yeah, it's a pretty good fight against Corey Anderson. It was a tough fight. Even in a loss, I thought he looked good. So move on to Valentin Moldavsky. 13-4 versus 13-3. Style-wise, co-main. What can we expect from both these guys?
I think Moldavsky is starting to fill into this weight class. Keep in mind, he was a light heavyweight champion over in Bellator, so he's moving up to heavyweight here. I think they're very evenly matched. I would say Bilostenniy has probably a little bit more of that danger factor. Moldavsky, as great as he is, has shown openings in the past. And he's fighting a young, big, strong guy in this spot. One angle I do love is that when two Russians fight each other, you take the fight to go the distance, especially in PFL. They're so evenly matched. They know the grappling exchanges. I don't see either guy, unless it's a flash knockout, really being able to dominate the other. I think it'll be close. And I think when round 2 starts, both of them are going to realize I need cardio for round 3 because this is probably going to be a split decision. So I like this fight to go the distance. That's my favorite. I will say that laying the chalk on Moldavsky could look like a real bad decision because Bilostenniy is a legitimate fighter.
Okay. I don't have anything to add. I like the over too. The over as well. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I think that's kind of the only way to play it. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. Once again, last fight, guys. We're talking Phil Davis, Rob Wilkinson. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. Leave us a comment. Just say hi. Helps the algorithm out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you get notified when you have all of our videos that are released. Let's talk Phil Davis and Rob Wilkinson. This is a fight where I think a fighter slimmed down, and I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. He's not on the juice. This was a guy that actually tested positive for juice. Go over to our UFC video. We'll talk about somebody that hasn't tested positive, but sure looked like it in his last fight.
It's the theme of the weekend, it seems like.
Yeah. He looked terrible against Yags.
Yeah.
Terrible against Yags. This Josh Silveira, I throw this one out the window. That was at elevation. And those were two guys dying, just hugging each other, trying to get through a fight in Utah in the mountains. I don't really take much of that. And then, he gets finished against Tom Breeze, and, it's crazy. Him and Jacob Netta fighting in FNC 22. Yeah. He loses in FNC 21. Breeze is a basket case, man. It's just a basket case. I don't see it from Wilkinson. I don't. I think this is Davis. I think this is where Wilkinson starts to get exposed. Without the roids, just haven't really been that impressed outside of the Breeze fight. So I'll take Davis in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not buying this version of Rob Wilkinson. I'm just not. I can't put my money on him. And there's a lot of people I respect immensely that are saying that Rob is his takedown defense is so criminally underrated. Rob's big game was the fact that he could hurt you. And I haven't seen anything from him recently hurting anybody. I really haven't. It just seems that the punching power is not there. The cardio has looked okay, but that aggression, that punching power, that volume, his volume has fallen off an absolute cliff. And I think this is a recipe for disaster against Phil Davis. This could be the most boring 3-round fight that we have seen in a long, long time. And not only that, Rob Wilkinson comes out yesterday and tells Phil Davis, come meet me in the middle, Phil. Don't be boring. So what do you think Phil Davis is going to do?
I ain't meeting you anywhere.
You
ain't dictating this fight. You're going up against the fence there, big boy.
And why doesn't Rob want to? Because he doesn't want to get wrestled.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious trash talk. I think you're playing with fire betting on Rob Wilkinson here. He's got to show it to me that he's actually somewhat back. And I think Phil Davis can make this ugly and win a decision, and we'll get a chance to fade the 40-plus-year-old Phil Davis.
Unbelievable, he's 40.
Right?
I mean, this picture's laughable, but just, come on.
He ain't 40 there.
I mean, ChatGPT couldn't make something like that. Come on, give me a break. Close split loss against Corey Anderson, but a couple wins before that, losing to Nemkov, whatever, bunch of wins before that. So I'm with you that I think Wilkinson's on the fade train. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Again, don't forget to pick up that 5% gold parlay. UFC plus Live Golf. That starts they're over in Korea, so it starts Thursday night. The golf tournament does. We got a parlay with a really nice UFC piece. And then, of course, we have our PFL cash flow 5-1 plus 11 units so far in 2025. Just a beautiful hit on the plus 170.
It was great
at the last one. So I know it's hard to bet on some underdogs, but called our shot last time, and there's a couple we're going to like. I'd have to say Karl Williams is probably my favorite underdog in this one. So this is kind of a little bit of a new age in PFL. The old guard is out. The old guard is, where did Leah go? He's fighting in like
some backyard fight, whatever. I don't know where the heck he is.
Hard to believe some of these guys are just not around anymore. So you got a lot of new fighters, and I guess I'm just saying like the old rules from the previous season. Some of them still apply, but not all the time. Not as much as they normally do.
I wonder if the tread on the tires is starting to matter. You got to with PFL. I mean, you're fighting what 3 times in 8 months?
The tournament style. There's no time off.
These are guys that like look at Clay Collard.
Oh, he's fought. It's done.
Like I think the wear and tear just grinds you up, and maybe we should start believing these guys when they say it's the hardest tournament in sports.
Yeah,
It was.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone later.
Good luck, guys.